Madden 23 is pretty much over. It is dead. It is kaput. It is gone. So there's really not a whole lot of content for Madden creators to put out right now. But we're going to be talking about Madden 23 regardless, nonetheless, whatever you want to say. And we're going to be talking about Madden 24, franchise mode, sliders, gameplay, glitches, everything that you need to know. Let's get into it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a great day today. So this is a bit of an unusual video. I feel like I kind of need to come out with it. First of all, we are going to be going over all the franchise for Madden 24, all those like little features and stuff. I know they came out like weeks ago. I still want to talk about them because I have been playing Madden 23, and there's some additional things that I'd like to talk about to see if EA has actually addressed. Second of all, I don't know how many of you have come across this problem, but in Madden 23, I have been playing a franchise for probably the past roughly like 6 years. I got 10 years into my franchise, and I went to the Super Bowl pretty much every single year. And when I got to the off season in the year 2030, I lost my offensive coordinator. I know what you're thinking. Oh no, he lost his offensive coordinator. That's so tragic. Just hear me out, because there is a point to this. Usually in Madden, you're able to rehire offensive coordinators or defensive coordinators once they leave your team. For some reason, I haven't been able to do this. I experienced this in Madden 22, but it was in like the year 2055. And this year, it's been in 2030. I've been looking around, and I've seen a ton of people have this issue as well with Madden 23. I'm not asking EA to patch Madden 23 because there's really no point of patching the game this late, and like they're already on Madden 24. Like that's already been established. What I'm kind of curious though is if they've actually fixed this glitch in Madden 24, because as we all know, Madden 24 is supposed to be like the save the franchise game. Well, something that will actually literally break your franchise is if you cannot hire an offensive coordinator, because after that point, you're going to have to go ahead and retire as a head coach and then go on to a different team, fire their offensive coordinator, go back onto your new team as a new coach, and then hire that coordinator. If you're doing a cloud franchise, and we can't have that because like it happens here every single year, and you have to keep like pretty much you just have to keep retiring and hiring and retiring and hiring, and it's obnoxious. I dealt with it in Madden 22, and like I've pretty much uninstalled Madden 23 because of it, because I'm just like there's no point. So what we're gonna do in this video is we're gonna go over Madden 24 sliders and or I guess all the things that they're featuring and all the stuff, and we'll just see like exactly what they fixed. Okay, so I'm not gonna have my camera on for this one, but here we are at Madden 24. This is their Madden 24 franchise deep dive. Learn more about the updates coming to Madden NFL 24, including the new commissioner, tools, training camp, and more. Obviously there's this whole video. If you haven't seen it, I'll put it down in the description for you guys. But one of the biggest things that they're adding is a training camp. What training camp pretty much is it has all of these different type of game modes. It's pretty cool, and they added the bronze, silver, and gold medals back depending on how you do with certain players, and you can actually do that before the preseason starts. So it's a pretty nice feature. I appreciate it. I like it. I'm glad they're adding it back. They should never have left the game, but that's another discussion for another day. Now, obviously, they have all these different types of game modes: target passing, pass skeleton, rushing attack, wide receiver battle, red zone attack. I'll probably be using this one the most because I'm terrible in the red zone. DB battles, like offense, defense. It's really nice. Then if we keep going down, we have the weekly strategy. With the weekly strategy, in addition to training camp, mini games have also been implemented into the weekly strategy loop. Each week, after selecting your offensive and defensive game plans, each of your focus players, except offensive linemen, which they need to absolutely add, will have the opportunity to play through one minigame. All 26 minigames will be available, but each focus player will be limited to play the minigames they are eligible for. Also, because this is a weekly task, the rewards will be much lower than in training camp, and it is essentially used as a modifier for the player's bonus focus XP. So pretty much if you have Mike Evans or like any of these guys, as you literally can see here, Mike Evans minigame available. You can play as Mike Evans for minigames and get XP for him, and it's not going to be as easy as it is during training camp, but you can still do it and kind of get an extra boost in terms of XP for any selected player that you want. Now in terms of trades, they added 6 slots. Pretty nice. I think you're only allowed to trade for either like 3 picks and 3 players. I don't think you can do 4 picks and like 2 players or anything. It has to be 3 and 3. You might be able to do 2 picks and 4 players. It's one or the other. But it's nice. They added new trading slots. I like that. We've been asking for that for years, so I'm really happy about that. Extra draft picks, trade tuning. I do know that they've made it more realistic. There's now a slider for the actual trade tuning, which we'll get into a little bit later. And you can now get offers, supposedly, a little bit more often from the actual AI, which is really nice. Now, next thing we're going to talk about commissioner tools and settings. For the commissioner tools and settings here, they added depth chart reordering. There's now an on and off, I guess, feature for that. They didn't have that before. They absolutely should have. It's been obnoxious for years. Draft class strength. So we've done a lot over the last couple cycles to make our generated draft classes more unique and more fun, but outside of hand editing the class, there hasn't been an easy way to customize and adjust classes. So now you can make it so like quarterbacks are like, there's a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of talented quarterbacks in a draft class, but like not a whole lot. So now what you can do is like there are a lot of quarterbacks in the draft class versus not a lot of running backs in the draft class, instead of it being like, you know, same amount of quarterbacks, same amount of running backs, and you actually make a variety of just like, hey, like in the NFL nowadays, there are a lot more receivers getting drafted that are like really talented versus running backs. Running backs don't typically go in the first round. Running backs, let alone like the position is kind of dying. So running backs, you don't see a whole lot of them nowadays. Hence why they have the very weak, normal, strong, and very strong. Each setting will adjust the likelihood of a certain type of prospect generating. So on very strong, there will be more top tier prospects, and the chance of seeing a generational is 10 times higher than on normal. So then they kind of go into a little bit more examples of it. We don't really need to talk about it. Offensive and defensive play calling settings, previously cooldowns and play calls. So we don't need to read any of this. This is just a ton of fluff. What they did is they added another slider. Obviously, we had the play call cooldown for offense, and it was just like it focused on offense and defense at the same time. Now they separate it so you have cooldown for offense and cooldown for defense. So now, I know you guys have been putting this in the comments, but now you can have an offensive cooldown while also just being able to call the same defensive play over and over and over again, because you don't need to have a cooldown for defense anymore. Now the fantasy draft order. Previously, the fantasy draft order could only be played in a standard order, going from pick 1 to 32 each round. This year, commissioners can choose this or a snake draft, which reverses the order each round. And fantasy football is very popular. Snake drafts are kind of the way to go. So I'm glad they added this. It's just another little thing. Free agency motivations impact. There's now a slider for it. So if you want to have all the free agency players be motivated by like what they're interested in, if they like going to a non-tax state, like that's what they really want, there's now a slider to make it so like every player like really focuses on their motivations in order to determine where they're going to be signed. Trade difficulty, there's now a slider for it, for easy, very easy, or hard, and very hard, making it a little bit more challenge for your franchise. You can now turn off home field advantage. That's now toggle, which is really nice. And then progression and regression, there are a ton of sliders for it. This is going to be a lot of videos for you guys, which is been good for me. It'll take a little bit more time, but I don't mind that at all. I really enjoy it. But now we're going to have actual sliders for progression. So now quarterbacks you can make regress way older, and same with wide receivers. You can make running backs regress way quicker, which is really nice, and it goes with every position. Free agency negotiation per stage. Now you have a slider to choose like what stage you want. There will be a draft timer that you can choose to either be on and off. And then the draft generators, like I said, they're kind of making it so you'll have more guys with like 99 hit power, or like more guys with 99 speed, or some guys that'll be like 6'8" wide receivers with 99 speed. They're adding that in, which I think is a little bit not very realistic, but at the same time it's a video game, so why not have some fun with it? They're now doing that with the draft generators. And that's kind of what I was talking about. They're called 99 prospects. They literally just need to have one 99 thing, and that's what a 99 club prospect is. Utility prospect, just think of Taysom Hill here, so you could have a quarterback and a tight end that can do both positions interchangeable, which they did have, but I think they're making more of an emphasis on it now. Injury prone prospects, so the age-old saying is the best ability is available, and that's something you'll have to strongly consider this year, as we've included some elite prospects with one catch. They'll have incredibly low injury rates. We'll see how this kind of gets implemented, because if all their prospects that are really good have low injury rates, it's not going to be good. They said that you'll have to pay attention when scouting and drafting, as you'll have to seriously question whether to risk it all on an elite prospect who may spend most of their time watching watching from the sideline. Like I said, we'll have to see how this goes. They also did some other draft updates. They adjusted the weight and frequency at which each archetype can generate at each position to closely match real-life rosters. They tuned the college selection for top-tier quarterbacks to way bigger schools, so you'll have more guys coming out of Alabama. They normalized all prospects to be a default morale level to prevent any ratings changes when that is not proper grammar, I don't think, when viewing players from the draft. And then they also adjusted our generators to accommodate the new jerseys, so now you're gonna have guys that are wearing number 0. Now there is new relocation. They added some new cities, no new teams, no new stadiums, but they did kind of revamp all the uniforms, which is really nice. I wish they did a lot more with relocation, but the fact that they even touched relocation for EA, I'll take it, but they need to do a lot better. But it's still pretty exciting. Like, this is the one thing when I played the beta, which I can now talk about because the beta is long gone and they've come out with all these features, and it's literally right here, so EA, don't take down my video. But this is something that definitely a lot of people have been wanting. I honestly, the one thing that I was really hoping for was just new stadiums. Just give us like maybe a couple of new traditional stadiums or like a couple new futuristic stadiums, but no, it's okay. Like, I was kind of reaching for it, but EA didn't do it. They just kind of gave us some new cities, and now you can pretty much choose whatever city you want, and then you can choose whatever team you want. You don't get to choose your uniforms. They literally just they've revamped all the uniforms, but they haven't actually given you any like options like type 1, type 2, or type 3. It's now just one uniform, but they have alternate jerseys, which is nice. So yeah, I mean, like, it's nice. And I think the Oilers as well, they are only available once again in Texas. So unfortunately you can't make the Canadian Oilers. It has to be like where it has previously been. But yeah, so here they go. They have like Hawaii. These are all the different types of cities. I'll just leave it here. You guys can pause if you want to see all the different types of cities. I relocated every franchise to every team when I was playing the beta. It was pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. And you can now relocate right away when you hop into your franchise. So you go to stadium and then you press relocate, and then literally you don't have to wait 5 weeks. It just happens right then and there. So like I said, they've updated the names and logos. Each city has 3 name choices. That was limited. Now it's just whenever. The Oilers are the only one that remains exclusive to Houston, and there are 90 plus uniforms and have been entirely refreshed. This is true. I feel like in another video in Madden 24, I will definitely go over all the uniforms and stuff, but it was definitely nice. They've also adjusted the salary cap, so managing the salary cap has always been a critical component to building a championship roster. This year, we're bringing 2 more pieces into the fold. Contract restructuring, it's literally just a button that you press on certain players like Cooper Kupp, and then you just automatically restructure their contract. And then there are also fifth year options. This is a whole lot of fluff. All you need to know is it's a new button, kind of like when you like put a player on IR. It's literally that type of a button, except it's actually just press restructure, and it's only on certain players, depending on like how big their contract is and what kind of contract they have. And then 5th year options. The 5th year option is a mechanic available to all players selected in the first round of the NFL draft. Previous Madden titles, you may have noticed that the 5th year option scenario appeared in the offseason. This was an easy to miss surprise for most users. I will say, like, at some weeks I could just sim past the offseason and completely miss the 5th year option. I think this year what they did is they just kind of implemented it into the draft. So what they pretty much did with the 5th year option is they said during the season you will see your eligible players appear at the end of the re-sign list, which, by the way, re-signing players is now, you don't have to wait a certain week to re-sign players. Everybody becomes available after week 3. I think this is a little bit more realistic. Obviously, in the actual NFL, players usually get re-signed during the offseason, but hey, at least we can just re-sign everybody we want starting at week 3. Anyways, kind of going on to this, what they said again. During the season, you will see your eligible players appear at the end of the re-sign list when their current projected earnings of the 5th year. Once in the offseason, these players will move back into the list, and the final earnings will be updated on their card. This is when the final decision is made. Pick up the option if you have determined the player is critical to your roster and deserving of the increased compensation, or move on and make the decision to extend the player normally the following season. player values, and logic improvements. So there's a lot of fluff with this. All you need to know, they added a couple new branches for talent trees, kind of going into like some players, wide receivers can be better at like medium route running, short route running, deep route running, and it goes for offense and defense. Head coach and player personnel. Head coach and player personnel can specialize between developing the offensive or defensive positions, whether it be training XP or coaches, or signing likelihood with the player personnel department. Offensive and defensive coordinators, that's literally what it talks about with the separate trees. So there's this like there's a thing called Guru, which is more important than ever, that the coordinators you choose to lead your players align with the game plan. So now it's just a little bit more aligning to your game plan based on a couple more branches, which is nice. I do like that as well. Miscellaneous updates. This is what I was kind of wanting to talk about here, because they updated the ability slots that are now 4. There is more morale tuning, and there's also scouting UI improvements. Pretty much we were at the end of this thing, and I still have not seen anything about the coaching staff rehiring ability, because in Madden 23, in Madden 22, this has been an ongoing bug, and this is probably the only thing that I'm the most worried about at this point in the year for Madden 24, is if we get into 10 years into our franchise, are we going to get the glitch where our offensive coordinator is gone and we can't hire another one, and we're going to have to retire our coach, which we played through for 10 years, and, you know, pretty much we lose all of his XP just so we can get an offensive coordinator. If we have this happen, a lot of people are going to be upset, and the fact that EA has not addressed any of this, they have not, like, I haven't seen anything. We've gone through the entire website here. They haven't said anything about it, is what it frustrates me. It is really, really frustrating. Obviously here, like the whole talent tree expansion, this is great. Like all this stuff, like it sounds great. This is all new quote unquote features, some just a lot of revamp things that they're putting back into the game. But at the end of the day, at least for me, like if I get 10 years into a franchise and I can no longer hire a coordinator, you can't play without a coordinator. So your franchise is pretty much screwed. And if you're on a cloud, you can't switch teams in order to, like, you can't keep your coach and switch teams in order to fire an offensive coordinator and then put them on your team. You have to do it offline. So this is going to create a whole lot of issues. And I'm just really hoping that EA knows about it, because it's not like it was just like one little video that I saw on YouTube. Like, it is all over the internet. If you look up on Google, if you look up on YouTube, just like offensive coordinator missing Madden 23, it's all over the place. Okay, so like I said, this has been a very different type of video. There's not a whole lot of content that I can really put out right now, because Madden 23 is at the end of its life cycle by far. Like, I'm just gonna be completely honest, guys. I don't even want to touch that game again. I might do one final gameplay slider if anybody still wants to play Madden 23 franchise mode. But after kind of experiencing the whole me playing my Giants franchise mode with Arch Manning and like all those players for in Madden years, like 10 years, and then having it corrupt in a way that I can't hire an offensive coordinator, which is preventing me from playing my franchise, I really just don't want to play, especially because it's just so late in the season. Like Madden 24 is literally coming out in a month. I'm really hoping that Madden 24 fixes the whole like offensive coordinator glitch, because as you see, they've added new like aspects to talent trees. But at the end of the day, if they don't fix the fact that you can't hire more offensive coordinators, there's no point of upgrading the new talent trees, because you're not going to have any offensive coordinators with talent trees. And that's the only thing that I'm really concerned about. I played the beta in Madden 24. The gameplay is very smooth. It's nice. It is really, really nice. Franchise mode definitely is better. I would love to see a little bit more of a facelift to the actual game mode, but in terms of what they've actually done, I guess from year to year franchise mode, this is by far, I think, one of the biggest steps they've taken, besides in Madden, I think 22 with the scouting update. The gameplay, like the blocking, is much, much better. I'm probably gonna buy Madden 24, but I really need to see if they're gonna go ahead and update the coaching staff, because if I can't hire offensive coordinator, if they have that glitch in the game or any other franchise glitches, which they said they were gonna fix, we're gonna have some problems. So I don't know, they might have fixed it, they might have just not mentioned it because it's like a small glitch, but it literally breaks your franchise. I don't know. If you guys know if they fixed this, please comment down below. I am getting a little bit tired. It's pretty late when I'm recording this. In terms of the future videos, I'm honestly just kind of waiting until Madden 24, the game, like actual Madden 24 game comes out, because then we can focus on Madden 24 gameplay and like update you guys throughout the year on that and talk about franchise mode then. Anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy. Please make sure to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and comment down below. Let's try to get a like goal of, I'll say 5 likes on this video. I don't know how well this video is gonna do, but 5 likes would be awesome. I don't know. If you guys do enjoy, make sure to, you know, subscribe, turn the bell notification on. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm getting tired, but here's the video for you guys. Hope you did enjoy it, and I'll see you guys next time.